Good morning, everyone. Well, I hope you got to see my live broadcast last night. I am surprised at how well it seemed to come out. I have good enough signal here that I can do that, and I'm here until the 3rd, so I'm going to try to figure out a time that I can have one, and then I'll actually announce it so you know when to look for it. Okay. Today's topic might be a little controversial, so I'm going to hope that I can figure out the right words to say to get this up to you without being censored. I put some pieces together along with the help of other YouTube broadcasters, including Glenn Beck. So I think that we can get a lot of this out. My basic topic is that we're the last generation. And when we look at a lot of things going on, we know we're the fig tree generation, so we will see his return, whether that's his return for a second coming or a return for the rapture. That's a different story for a different day. I was going to talk a lot more about what's happened during our generation that we're going to not see anymore. But after listening to their conversations, Glenn Beck and others, we know what the government's agenda is. They've revealed it completely. If you put all the pieces together, and I'm going to go back to what I've said in the past, I said that the 30-20 reverse the numbers agenda, see, I'm playing these number games and name games, that agenda has some things in it. And one of the things that's important is a reduction in population. I don't mean by 5%, by 10%, but like 90%. That's billions of people dead. That's genocide on the face of the earth. That's greater than Hitler was able to achieve. It just rained. It stopped raining about an hour ago. So it feels very musty. So my throat's letting me know. I've been up for a while, but I've already had my breakfast and coffee, so. But I'm just going to. This park here seems to bother my breathing more than any of the other parks I've been in. I'm not sure what it is. There's something in here. I'm getting dripped on a little bit from the leaves, but if I get too much, I might have to head back out to the road because I'm on a trail. See, I'm on a trail. Okay. So if their primary agenda obviously is to have one round blue thing government, I hate playing these games with the words, but I'm trying to get this message out. If that's a primary role that they want to achieve, getting the population down will make that easier. We know that the Bible says the harlot's on 7 hills, 7 mountains. Basically, it's covering 7 major centers around the world. The United States, I'm sure, is one of them. The UK, other places. So they pretty much have already got power spread out to cover the world. So what they do, they're doing it for their master achievement of their full control. Okay, I keep pausing because I'm trying to figure out what words to say. Okay, well, let's look at how do you control the population. Let's look at the agenda of our United States. What do they have? What's their primary things that they're pushing? Well, our illustrious leader said one of the first things he's going to sign, I think he said the first thing he's going to sign after these elections, will be an attempt to reverse all the baby killing rules that just came out. He basically wants to reinstate Roe versus Wade, which our Supreme Court said was unconstitutional, and it was. Just nobody had the guts to do anything about it. He's not going to be able to achieve anything as long as our Supreme Court's protecting us, because we have our Constitution. They're going to go after that, I guarantee it. But they want abortion back. Why? It helps to keep the population down. Score 1 on that column. Let's look at something else they're doing. They're real big on gender equality. Let me see if I can keep this as plain as simple. Imagine what the world population would be like if everyone was a homosexual. Everyone. There wouldn't be any babies born directly. Some do surrogate births, and they could do that. That would be the only way that there would be babies born. Again, reduce the population. Because it's one thing to get the population down, but then they want to keep it down. You know, they can't do what like China does, where you're only allowed 2 babies or whatever the current number is, and they got to be, you know, male or whatever the rules that they set up. All this stuff is up there for a reason, for population control, for people, for countries that are basically overpopulated. They want climate control, do they? Or they just want control? They really just want control. This is cool. I'm on a elevated platform, so I'm walking along. That's why you're hearing my clippity-clop. Everything they want to do is to reduce the population and maintain control over that population. It's a nice bench. I'd love to sit down, but it's wet. You know, you build something really beautiful like this, and every once in a while you get a tree fall down and it takes out the railings. We get storms here. Like I said, we just had rain, but it was the tail end of what was a stronger storm as it went across the south. By the time it got here, there was not much left of it. So anyhow, our government wants to cooperate with the harlot. They're definitely in bed together. Our fearless leader is nothing more than a puppet for the harlot, because he's not capable of normal speech. The way he's going to get better ratings than Jeff Dunham's Walter. If we voted on him right now, I'd say he's a better puppet than Walter. And he's a bit cranky too. Okay, let's look at the other thing that the United States and other similar governments are doing. We're poking the strongest nuclear power in the world, and we're constantly poking. If they have a world war with the United States and Russia involved, that would, especially if it was a nuclear war, which is what they want. That's why all this talk about it. Them buying 500, or was it There's a little under $300 million worth of this radiation drug. That's not enough to protect the United States, but it's enough to protect the elites around the world. If they really wanted to protect us, they'd back off on this rhetoric, but they're not. So they really don't care about protecting us. Okay, I see which way the miles were counted on this trail. When I was on it yesterday, I think it was, we were at mile marker 4. Well, here's 3. So I'm a mile north of where I was for that other sign. So everything they're doing is to try to reduce the population. They want World War III. They were desperate for it. We're told that when the wars do happen, because of the seals and eventually the trumpets, that it is going to reduce the population by a half. So they want to do that. That's what they're pushing. Now, it hasn't happened yet because it's not time. But we're on a very definite time clock. We're waiting for when Satan thinks it's best to come down here and attack. When will that be? That's what we're all guessing with the rapture. Because if we look at the Revelation 12 sign, that's the starting point. When the baby's born, Satan comes down here with a third of his angels to try to kill us. So we have to be raptured. And then he's going to go after Jerusalem. So the thing is, if the U.S. and Russia get into a nuclear war and we wipe each other out, then I think Magog is gone and can't attack Israel unless we're the ones that's wiped out and Russia survives. We've been a big Christian nation for a long time. We're not there right now. We're about half of what we should be. So that gives them a little bit more strength. And it's possible if they poke the bear and the bear launches nukes, our illustrious leader could say, stand down, let them hit. Maybe not directly, but in something to that effect. And so we get wiped off the face of the earth, big population drop, and we don't have our influence in the world anymore, which has kept a lot of this at bay. This is a, frightening scenario. Not for us again. Like I said, when all this starts, I think we're out of here. But what have we done to prepare the rest of the world before we do get out of here? They can't completely wipe out everybody on the earth because that would be a win for Satan and God would have nobody left. So that's not going to happen. We know that there's a remnant in Israel after their attack. God protects them all the way through. So Satan just wants to do as much damage as he can. That's a nice little trail going up the hill, but I don't think I want it. The ground's too wet to go up a hill where you got to have good footing. So anyhow, everything that our government is doing is to set up conditions that will reduce the population. And whatever we do here, the rest of the world's going to end up following. We've been the leader. So anyhow, I hope this manages to get out for you tomorrow morning. I don't know. Let's see, what am I at? I've got time for a study, but I think I just want to make sure this gets out. I don't want to make it too long in case they take it down. Then I can put another one up where I'm using my words differently. No matter what goes on, I keep doing my hikes every day to stay in shape. try to watch what I eat. Every once in a while I'll go off my diet. But if it's not the cheat meals or the cheat sins that you may work on, it's the how are you doing overall? What are you doing overall? If you're doing really good, eventually the cheat days disappear. They may start off, 3 times a week, and then they're down to 2, and then down to 1. That's your goal, is to better yourself every day. But it's hard to do, and sometimes we just have to take a cheat meal to be able to do that, or whatever you've got to do. If you're a smoker, it's difficult to quit. It's an addiction. There's lots of things that are addictions that we have to try to stay away from. I don't know, can I get down in there? It's an interesting area to look at. Let me see if there's a way down in there. I may add this as some B footage on the end. If I can figure out how to get down there. Okay. I'm going to go back this way. Okay, I'm down where I need to be. I can't get any lower. So what I'm going to do is finish up here, and then I'll turn the camera around and give you some B footage at the end. Well, I pray this gets out there and doesn't get censored. We'll have to see what happens. But basically, it explains pretty much everything that the government's doing. We know the harlot's in control, the puppeteer, if you will. The harlot's going to do all the basic work, all the setup work. And then when the Antichrist comes down here, he's going to kill off the harlot. So he's going to have power. He's going to have an army. It's a physical attack. And I think he's going to continue to use Russia for that. Magog. I see some birds over there. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, let you see that. Don't worry about whatever you see. If it's a nuclear attack, we'll either survive unscathed or we'll be taken out of here. Either way, it's good. Stay happy. You can't win people over if you're not happy. If you're struggling, deal with that. That's more important right now. Get yourself right with God, and He will help you, though. He'll either take your problem away or help you to deal with it. Talk to you soon. God bless. Okay, I'm at the north end of the Okefenokee Swamp. There's a bird making some swamp noises. And there's some birds here at the other end. Let me see if I can find them. There's one there. There's one there, and there's more behind the trees on the other side. I can't get to them. They're too far away. But it's definitely a swamp all through here. I can't get out in that. One, I'd get all muddy. And I assume that there's no alligators in there, but there could be. If I was on the south end of the swamp, there definitely would be. But this is where they like to live, so I'll stay out of that. And if we look up, all the way up, it goes up pretty high. And you can see the leaves are beginning to change now, like on this tree here. There's a cold front behind the storm that just came in. It'll be down here eventually. But I'm happy as a clam in my new sleeping bag, so I don't have any problems. So you can see more of the birds coming out over there in the center. Those egrets, I think. I haven't seen any deer yet, but I have seen signs. You can see where they've walked. So I'm going to continue on my trail. If I see anything else come up, I'll shoot some bee footage for you to put at the end. But right now, have a great day. God bless. A lot of these places have areas where you can practice archery. I've done these many times with the scouts. I don't have any bows left anymore. I stopped doing that, but you can find activities, and there's also play yards for kids and pavilions, so you can come out here with a group of people. State parks do a lot of good to get people back out into nature, and they're fairly inexpensive. Obviously, camping is what I do. It's cheaper. They do have Adirondacks and homes you can rent. They're a little more expensive, but if you take a bunch of people, then it's not too bad. The roads and everything are maintained.